Hello all. All right, so we have Zoom this year for our school. So what I wanted to make is a quick little video that does two things. It helps you get it set up for success. So hopefully all the features you want, polling, whiteboard, all that stuff can work. A lot of times it's just like turning on settings and things like that. But then I also just want to show you some of the other stuff within Zoom that are a little bit less common that hopefully can help you out. So my goal when you leave here is that you're all set up, you're good to go, and that you also maybe learn a little bit. So you'll see here I have this link. This link goes to this presentation, which I actually think you should have up along while you watch this video, because the presentation has certain things linked and has a video of certain things that you might want if you want to go deeper into something. So it's meant to be kind of a supplement to this. Let's get into it, shall we? All right. So first, if you are a South Brunswick person, we have the paid version. So make sure that you have that paid version. So the way you can do that is to click and check your profile. And when you click on it, it'll either say licensed or it'll say basic. So you see here, mine says licensed. As yours says basic still, you need to get upgraded. So at this point, what you'd want to do is email Sharon Johnson, our head of tech, and she can get you upgraded. So that's the first thing, to make sure that you're all good to go. Second thing to make sure you're set up is a lot of these things, you just need to turn the settings on. So in particular, breakout rooms, polls, whiteboard. So you can just Google Zoom settings if you like, or again, I have it linked right here for you. But when you go there, you can scroll down. There's a lot of different settings. So what I usually do is I search the page for it, again, whatever makes you happy. So make sure that you have polling turned on and that you have breakout rooms turned on. And even whiteboard. So those are the three main ones. Just make sure you have them turned on so that they're accessible for you. Because if they're not turned on, well, then we just can't use them. So that's step 2. Make sure that all your settings are turned on. Step 3 is just make sure you're on the right device. So unfortunately, there are some limitations with a Chromebook. The iPad's pretty great still, but for hosting a meeting, you probably want to be on some sort of laptop, PC, Mac, that kind of thing. Because you'll see from these charts, there's some things you can't do. Now, I just want to clarify something. So if you are on a Mac and you're running a breakout room, or a poll, I mean, it says you can't do it on a Chromebook. If you're on a Chromebook as a kid, they can still answer your polls. It's just a matter of if you're trying to run a poll from a Chromebook, you wouldn't be able to. So these are just meant for the host, not necessarily the participants. So now you have that out of the way, let me show you just some of the other things that are in there that hopefully can be helpful for you for the school year. So this is going to be helpful if you ever want to show a video to your students. So basically what you want to do is make sure that the audio from your video goes right to them nice and clear. So when you share a video, what you would do is, hopefully you can still see this, is, well, there's a whole lot of me, is when you go to share screen, there's a little setting down the bottom that says share computer audio or optimize for video clip. So just do that first before you share your video, and that'll make sure that the kids get the sound that they need for the video. All right. Next thing is I showed you the whiteboard. There's also an annotation feature, which means that the kids can write on your screen when you share your screen. Sometimes that's great because you want to collaborate. Sometimes it's not good because you don't want kids writing on your screen when you're trying to share things. But I want to show you that it's there as a setting. And so when you do it, you would just simply share your screen. And then from there, I have the annotation feature already turned on. So if I was sharing a whiteboard or something like that, they could annotate it. And if somehow I wanted them to stop, I could always stop them from annotating. Oops, oh boy. There's a setting where you can stop them from annotating. But that's going to be a feature right there, disable attendee annotation. But just want you to know that it could be really good if you want to work one-on-one with a student and you want to kind of work on a whiteboard together or something like that. That could be great for any kind of collaboration. So I just want you to know that that is there. Okay, breakout rooms, like I talked about. So most of us know what they are, but I want to just tell you a couple little tips with them. So this video I included here goes in depth about how to set up your breakout rooms. You can schedule them, but it's kind of a pain. So what most people will use them for is the automatic sorting into a breakout room. And that's for kids in small groups and things like that. If you want to have kids like pick a group, so hypothetically, let's just say it's group 1, group 2, group 3, and they're about different novels you're reading. And you want them to basically go a certain place. What you can do, a trick that I've learned, is that you can have them rename themselves. Instead of just like Jim, it would say 1 Jim. They put a number in front of their name. So then when you go to do a breakout room, if you want to do it and you want to manually move them to certain places, you do manually, what will happen is you can then easily move all the 1s to one room, 2s the other, and 3s the other. It still takes a little time, but it's a simpler way to move people around. Also, I think it's going to be really important for this year that during breakout rooms, when kids are working individually, one of the best things I think you can do is probably just put kids in individual breakout rooms. So they're just kind of there working solo, and then they can click a button if they need help, and they can come get you or you can go to them and just jump in their room and help them. That's probably a better move than just maybe having everyone work together in one large group where they hear each other's questions. So just want to, a couple of tips there. And again, this video will take you through more. So polling. So polling, again, is what it sounds like. If your setting is turned on, you now have the option, and you can kind of do it in the fly, but I want to show you kind of what I have set up. So you're going to ultimately have a meeting, recurring meeting. So you have the same link over and over again. So I'll show you that in a moment as well. But for your meeting, what you would do is to set up your polling. Actually, I'll just show you. So if I start this meeting again, if you have polling turned on, you should then have a polling feature down the bottom. So you see I have polling here. And I have a couple pre-made ones so that are almost, I'm ready on the fly. Like, which option do you think? On a scale 1 to 4, how do you feel about Zoom or yada yada? And so the way I have this set up is if you once again kind of go to your Zoom profile, there's an option when you look at your meetings that you'll see. So I'm just going to close this for a second. You see the same place where my settings were. Now instead of settings, I want meetings. So I'm going to pick that reoccurring meeting, and down the very bottom, you can set up your poll. So you can add questions and things like that. So no matter what, when you run this meeting from that link, you have all these different poll questions. So I'm a big fan of having kind of very generic questions that you can kind of ask on the fly. But of course, you can edit these to be more specific if you would like. And this video takes you through a little bit more how to do that. There's this new feature, which is kind of nice, where you could have Google Slides or a PowerPoint actually as your background, if you'd like, as a virtual background as you're teaching. And so Google Slides easily downloads to PowerPoint. So what you could do is you can download your PowerPoint or your Google Slides as a PowerPoint. So that's really easy to do. Just go to File, Download, and it becomes PowerPoint. And then when you do that, once you're in your meeting, you can go to share screen as long as you have the upgraded Zoom. So just make sure that you update to the latest version. In advance, there's slides as a virtual background. And when you do that, it's going to ask you to pick your PowerPoint. And then from there, you'll be able to easily just kind of go from slide to slide to slide, which is great. So again, it's almost like you're just kind of talking through your presentation in the background. So instead of my back door in my background, in a moment, it'll have the slides. So you can see now it is the Google Slide. So as I'm talking to my class, if I want to go from slide to slide and almost be like a weatherman, which is kind of cool, it gives you that option. You can even move your head all around, resize you, even take you out of it if you would like. But this is just a nice way to potentially give a little bit of quick direct instruction if you need it by having this as a background. So I'm going to, again, show you in a second how to do a recurring meeting, but there's an option that it just kind of gives you a regular link. And then Jack Medina made this video, which is great, which shows you how to make it a little bit more personal if you'd like. But if you want to, I'm going to close this meeting for a second and just set up a recurring meeting. So what you would ultimately do is just in the home screen, schedule a meeting, call it whatever you want, and just call it recurring meeting. And then from there, so if this was just Nemus always meeting, I can use this link for every class whenever I would like. And then it's there, and it's always scheduled, and it's good to go at any given point. And then it'll be down here under recurring meetings. So anytime I ever want to open a Zoom meeting, which is what I do for this one, you just hit start and it opens the meeting. And again, if you want to get your link, you can get this link, and it's the same link every single time, which is great. But what Jack's video will show you is if you somehow want to make a more personal link, like with your last name or something in it, this video will show you how to do that. You have to turn on a couple settings and then kind of customize it. So he'll take you through all of that. All right, we're almost done with my features. So the last thing I want to show you is that you can use your phone as a document camera. There's been some really cool things that I've seen on Twitter and Facebook and things like that, where you can kind of like prop your phone up, or even an old phone, which is really, really great. So there's a full video how to do it here. This is just me showing how to do it. That's my daughter. But really, it's as simple as starting your meeting and then going to share screen and just picking a phone if you have an iPhone, which is great. It's built right in. So you just share and then hit iPhone via AirPlay. And then what it'll do is it'll basically tell you just on your phone to pick the setting for sharing your screen right to here, and it'll do it. I don't have my phone with me, otherwise I would show you. But it's honestly as simple as that. And Jack made a little video here showing you if you don't have an iPhone, if you have an Android, there's another way you can do that too. Okay. So I know that was kind of a lot, and it was quick, but like I said, hopefully the resources you have there will help you along the way. But my hope for this video, like I said, was to get you all set up so you have everything set up, you learn some new features, and hopefully can really take advantage of everything Zoom has to offer. And as always, if you need anything, you know where to find me.